welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you like my video, subscribe and stick around. Today I want to do a short video on how to get started with pin trading and pin collecting. Now, I've been collecting for 4 years now. I started back in the fall of 2015, and it was actually at the parks when I made the decision to get into the hobby. I had been looking for a hobby, and I was also pretty intrigued whenever I would see people that would get really excited whenever they would see a cast member with pins. So I was curious and I wanted to see what it was all about. So I remember going to Animal Kingdom and going into one of the souvenir shops and getting this little hat. It would look almost like a little fishing hat, and it had about 4 to 5 pins on there, and they were all themed to the Kilimanjaro safaris. And as soon as I got my little hat with the pin, I looked for a couple of cast members and I did my first trades, and I was hooked. I remember thinking that there's so many pins out there, and when you do pin trading, really the possibilities are endless. I feel like pin trading added another level of excitement to my trips to Disney World, because again, I just have no idea what I'm gonna find whenever I go on the hunt for new pins to trade for. So needless to say, after I got that hat that day at Animal Kingdom, I went right back into the shop and I got a booster pack. The booster pack that I got also included a lanyard, and that is actually one of the lanyards that I still use to this day. That booster pack that I got had 4 pins. I traded all of those pins, but again, I still have my lanyard. A booster pack, for those of you that might not be too familiar with the term, it's basically a little pack with a set of pins. Has in between 4 to 6 pins depending on the booster pack that you get, and that is a great and inexpensive way to get into pins, whether you get a booster pack of a character that you would want to collect, that way you can start your own collection, or whether you're just getting them so that you can have traders to trade for pins that you actually want to get. So that is one of the easiest ways to get started with a booster pack. I didn't see any booster packs online right now on ShopDisney.com. Now that would be an alternative for people that do not live close to the parks, but you do have other choices. I'm gonna leave a link down below to some pin sets that are fairly inexpensive on ShopDisney.com right now. Those pins are open edition, so if you just want to break up the sets, those would make pretty good traders. Another option, if you don't live close to the parks, is to join one of the pin dedicated groups on Facebook and look for someone that does pickups for the parks. They can pick up a booster pack for you and just mail it to you. A lot of the times these people do include a pickup fee. Sometimes it's around 20%, so you do have some options if you do not live close to the park. Something that I learned with time is that it's really fun to trade with cast members, but sometimes you really have to check the pins that you're getting, because unfortunately a lot of the cast members have scrapper pins on their lanyards. Now, scrapper pins are basically fake pins. Those are pins that are replicas of authentic Disney pins, so you definitely don't want to end up with a fake pin. You can find multiple sources of information on how to spot a scrapper pin online. Just have to go on Google and look up what is a scrapper pin, or how to spot a scrapper pin. Now, when it comes to scrapper pins, something that you want to definitely avoid is going on eBay and buying those pin lots. So whenever you see 50 pins for $10, definitely stay away from that, because those are scrapper pins. Those are pins that you do not want. So it's similar to when you want, let's say, a Gucci purse, and you know that those purses are expensive, and then you go somewhere and you're getting a Gucci purse for 20 bucks. You know, there's something wrong with that. Like, there's no way that purse would be $20. So it's a similar case with the scrapper pins. You know, pins are definitely not that cheap. You're definitely not gonna get 50 pins for $10 at the park. So definitely stay away from those scrapper pins. Now, when it comes to trading at the parks with cast members, just remember there's just one rule. You can only trade 2 pins per cast member at a time, so definitely keep that in mind. Now, the reason cast member lanyards have a lot of scrapper pins on them is because cast members are not really allowed to say no to a trade, so keep that in mind when you are looking at pins on their lanyards. That's why you have to really inspect those pins. Another thing that you need to do, or that you should do when you decide that you want to get into the pin hobby, is just pick a collection. When I first started, I was a little all over the place. I was basically buying everything and anything because I thought it looked cool. But one thing that I have been consistent with is that I do prefer limited edition pins over open edition pins. That is just my personal preference. But when I first started, I was just getting a little bit of everything. So one thing that you should do is just to narrow your collection and pick a character or a couple characters that you want to focus on. That way it just makes it easier on you and you're not spending that much money because you're just buying everything. My main collection is Beauty and the Beast, but I have a secondary collection which is Jessica Rabbit, and I recently started collecting Disney Castle pins. So that makes it a lot easier when you already have a mindset of a certain pin that you want to focus on, because again, the possibilities are endless. On that trip in 2015, when I decided to get into pin trading, I do still have some of the pins from that trip, and this pin right here is what's left from my very first pin purchase. You know, that hat that I just mentioned a little bit ago? Well, this is the only pin that's left, but this pin is pretty special because it's really the very first pin that I got. This one is one of the pins that I also picked up during that trip. This pin is a mini jumbo. It is limited edition of 500, and that year they had 4 of these mini jumbo pins. They had one for each one of the parks over at Disney World, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. Now this pin right here is from Hollywood Studios, and one of the reasons why I think this pin is pretty special is because this is the water tower that used to be in Hollywood Studios. They don't have that anymore, so that is one of the reasons why I really love this pin. Now, as far as keeping your pins safe, there are different alternatives. If you want to just display them at home, you can use cork boards for that. You can use shadow boxes, which is what I do. I put my pins on display in shadow boxes at my house. As far as my traders, I keep them in pin box. So Disney has their own official pin box, but there are other companies out there that have their own pin box too. So it just really depends on preference. Now, out of all the pins that I do have a lot of favorite pins. I do have a lot of pins that I really love, but one of the ones that I really love is this one right here. This is the stunning silhouette mini jumbo bell pin. This pin was released online on the Disney store before it changed to ShopDisney. This pin is limited edition of 300, and this pin is really popular. It's sold out right away, and I am just really lucky that I'm able to have one of those pins for my collection. Now, something really important to keep in mind is that you should never feel pressure to trade anything you do not want to trade for. So you can definitely say no. You can always say no to a trade. Remember, this is just a really friendly and happy hobby. So again, you should never feel pressured to trade anything you don't want. Now, when it comes to trading, if you do not live close to the parks, you always have the option of doing some online pin trading. I am going to leave a link down below to a video I recently made talking about how I do my pin trading online. That is always an option if you do not live close to the parks. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if you've done any online pin trading. Let me know when you started pin trading. And before I go, you guys, I wanted to show this little light up Mickey head. I just bought this today at Lowe's, and this was a great price. It was only $20. It lights up, as you can see. It is battery powered, so you can really put this anywhere. And let me show you the box real quick. It came in this little box right here. And again, it just makes for great inexpensive decoration. That's it, you guys. And as usual, if you love the things that I talk about, definitely subscribe, comment, like, and hit that notification bell so that you can keep on geeking out with me. Bye!